What's going on YouTube? It's Brayzon back here with another video for you guys. If you guys are enjoying the content, if you guys want to hit a like down below, subscribe if you guys are new here, and leave a comment letting me know you subscribe so I can welcome you to the family. And that being said, cue intro. What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Madden 20 video for you guys here today. I'm going to be going over 10 players I think need a elite upgrade in Madden 20 Ultimate Team. These players are either players that had good years last year, or I think that, you know, they just basically they deserve to be an elite for whatever reason it is. They're not an elite, but a lot of these players should be an elite. They had good years last year, you know, they should have good years this year, and I'm kind of expecting a lot of them to get like the second wave of those power-ups with the new elites, maybe for like either Team of the Week cards or something like that. So first up is going to be Deshaun Watson. As you can see, he's a 79 overall. He's got all 70 stats. Obviously not that good. Personally, this is obviously not a card that anyone would use, or I wouldn't use on my team. But he had a good year last year. If anyone watches fantasy football, he had a pretty good year, and he's, you know, slated to have a good year this year. So it doesn't really make sense that he only got a gold, especially when some of the quarterbacks that are around his level or higher aren't as good. So if we just go ahead and look at the core elite, we'll go ahead and look at core elite quarterbacks. Let's go and see who's here, and we'll go ahead and show you. Okay, so obviously it can't be gold quality, so let's go here, and you know, Cam Newton is higher than him. Ben had a good year, so Ben deserves to be there. Matt Ryan is only an 82, but I feel like Deshaun Watson's really around that level. Really, Cam Newton's the one that's the really shouldn't be higher than him. If anything, I think Cam Newton should be a gold and Deshaun Watson should be an elite, but Cam Newton is just basically he's an ultimate team player. He's pretty much, if he gets a late game card, he's pretty good. I think he had a golden ticket one year, so that's why people just enjoy him. Next up for quarterbacks is going to be, so we're just going to put this quality all because that's going to continue to mess it up. Let's go, once this loads, we're going to go over to core golds again, and we will go to the Rams. And next up is going to be Jared Goff. Once again, he had a good year. He led a team to the Super Bowl last year. So for him to be a 79 overall with, you know, at least he has 81 short accuracy. Everything else is in the 70s with 80 throw power. But it doesn't really make sense that he's lower than Cam. I mean, he was the quarterback on a team that he led all the way to the Super Bowl. That's a big deal. That's not something that should be taken lightly. So I'm not really too sure why, you know, that they have him as a gold. Really, just for bringing him to the Super Bowl, I feel like he should be an elite. But, you know, it is what it is. I think he'll be getting another upgrade. I know people will say he was kind of a game manager, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, you're leading a team to the Super Bowl. You can't be that much of a game manager. You still have to be able to throw the ball just a little bit. Next up, and I know he does have an elite technically. He has that NFL epic, but it's going to be Baker Mayfield. He has pretty crappy stats as well, all 70s, but he at least has 84 throw power. Like I said, I know he has the NFL epic, but the reason I have him on here is because he doesn't have a power-up card. So this is kind of like I said, the people that also don't have a power-up card, so when they get the elite, they should be those second tier of power-up players. And I think Baker Mayfield definitely will be a player getting that this year. Personally, I think Baker should already have one. Once again, I think he should at least be an 80. I think he played better than Cam Newton last year. So why he's lower, I don't know. But it is what it is. And he should be next on the list for getting that upgrade. Now we will move over to running backs. And we are going to move over to the Patriots. And we got to get out of the power-up. So we're going to have to go back to the core golds and look at Sony Michel. He should pop up. Okay, so they have Rex Burkhead too. But Sony Michel, once again, he had a pretty good year. He was a big part of the reason the Patriots were good until he got injured. You know, he was really good. Even in the playoffs, he was good. He was the reason, you know, they're able to have Brady be healthy all year because he was running the ball really good when he was not injured, like I said. So I think he should have a goal or elite as well. One of the players that I think I compare these players to is 49ers, Jerick McKinnon. So Jerick McKinnon didn't play one snap last year. He tore his ACL in camp, and he's a 79 as well. And I understand that sometimes they rank players based off of what they are able to do, but the fact that starting running backs are even the same overall as Jerick McKinnon, who didn't play a snap last year, and these players are running backs that actually did good last year, it doesn't make a lot of sense. The next one on the list is going to be James Conner for the Steelers. If you look at it, I mean, James Conner was a top runner last year. I mean, look at those stats. 77 speed, 77 carrying, 74 chucking. Those are bad stats. And he was a top runner last year. I mean, he played really, really good. If we go ahead and if we go to all teams and we go look at the core elites, you can't tell me he didn't have a better year than a lot of these players. So let's wait for it to load. I mean, Dalvin Cook did decent, but you can't tell me James Conner didn't have a better year. Lamar Miller, James Conner had a better year. Mark Ingram, James Conner had a better year. I mean, these players, James Conner at least is on their level, if not had a better year than these players. So it doesn't make sense. You know, Devontae Freeman, Chris Carson. I mean, yeah, they're all deserve to be elites, but James Conner at least has to be that level. I think it was kind of messed up that they left him on golds. And there's a couple more running backs as well. I'm going to show you guys that I think they shouldn't have left on golds either. Next up is going to be Redskins. And it's going to be Adrian Peterson if I could ever find him. He should be here. I mean, once again, I know he's old. He's like 33 or whatever. But he was a 1,000-yard rusher last year. So for him to be a 79, I mean, is pretty bad. I mean, I think he at least deserves to be an 80 and have a power-up card. They should give him at least like a flashback this year or something like that, even if he doesn't get a team of the week or anything like that. But I mean, he was a 1,000-yard rusher. He was like top 10 in the league in rushing last year. So why is he a gold? I don't know. Next up is going to be Marlon Mack. So this one's a little bit in the middle just because I know that he was a little banged up throughout the year. But once again, he had a pretty good year. He was able to do a lot for them. He was a big reason their Colts offense was actually pretty good last year. And he should be slated to be the starter this year. And, you know, like I said, I mean, he didn't get injured that much. He pretty much played most of the year. He was only injured for small amounts. So he had a lot of 100-yard rushing games and things like that. I don't know his exact placement on the rushing stats or receiving or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure he would be up there with some of those low 8 elite players that we showed you. So, I mean, I think he should at least be there at the minimum. Next up is actually another player from the Colts, and this one shocks me because of how good he did last year, Eric Ebron. I mean, he had so many touchdowns last year. It didn't really make a lot of sense that he's not an elite. Once again, if we go ahead and compare these guys, let's just go ahead and compare him to other players that are tight ends that are core elites. And Eric Ebron had a really good year last year. He was a really good tight end. Jordan Reed didn't have that good of a year. Greg Olsen banged up all the time. I don't think he played all year. Delaney Walker didn't have that great of a year. I mean, yeah, obviously George Kittle should be higher than him, of course. Zach Ertz, Travis Kelce, there's like 3 or 4 tight ends that should be higher than him for sure. But when you're looking at, I don't know why that Delaney Walker card looks like it's purple or something. It looks different than the ones I saw up here. Very interesting. Either way, yeah, I mean, Zach Ertz, George Kittle, Travis Kelce, they deserve to be ahead of him for sure. But Greg Olsen, Jordan Reed, I mean, if these guys are getting elite cards, I think that Eric Ebron should for sure have an elite card. I think he had a better year than him. And he's probably going to have a better year this year, again, to be completely honest. Next up, we are going to go to the wide receiver position, and we're going to look at the Chargers, and it's going to be Mike Williams. Once again, he had a good year. I mean, obviously it wasn't a high elite year, but it was good enough to be elite, I feel like. He was a big difference maker on the backside. He really helped propel their offense because without him, Keenan Allen gets a lot more double teams on him. And even when Melvin Gordon went down, he really helped out the passing game. Mike Williams, I think he should be an 80, especially for talent levels. Because you have to think on all these players, it's also the talent they bring, which boosts their overall, even if they had good stats, but they don't feel like they're talented. But a lot of these players are very, very talented. I mean, they're in the NFL. They're producing in the NFL for a reason. So I think that he should be next up to get an elite as well. And then last but not least is actually going to be a defensive player. And I think he is right outside linebacker. Is it KJ? Yeah, KJ is right outside linebacker. I mean, this dude is a beast. I don't know why, once again, that he's got a gold card. I mean, his stats are pretty bad. Block shedding at 70. I mean, he's a really, really good linebacker. He does a lot. I know Bobby Wagner gets all of the praise for their team, but without KJ Wright and Bobby Wagner back there, it really hurts their defense. If KJ goes down and Bobby Wagner's still there, they are still good, but they're not as good. I mean, KJ Wright makes a huge difference being able to cover and play the zones and let Bobby Wagner kind of do his thing out there. So that's my list, guys. Let me know down below some other players you think should and deserve elite cards and power-up cards. This is just my opinion. Obviously, you guys don't have to agree with my opinion. Everyone has their own opinion. These are just the players I think. Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and subscribe, guys, if you want to see more Madden content like this. And as always, I will see you next time.